Oh, shit. What's going on, guys? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 4, episode 7. So, if you guys are going to be watching this on the replay, I want to make sure I explain this to you guys. We were going to have 2 episodes this week, but I actually ended up scheduling other shows I actually had to do first. Then I had to go help out someone in my personal life, so I wasn't able to give you guys both the shows. And since we're going to be a little pressed for time, today, because I have the Cookies and Cream podcast later on during the day with my friend, as well as the She-Hulk watch party later on my main YouTube channel, we got to combine the episodes this week. But next week, we'll be getting back fully into doing the 2 episodes, because the reason why you want to make sure you're doing 2 episodes is because toward the latter end of this year, it just made more sense to kind of just separate the shows. The LCS is a little bit more different than the LEC, and it is more content, for you guys, because as you guys know on the channel, I can really only do like the podcast and like news videos for you guys. So what I end up doing is I basically just separate the shows. So if you just want to go and watch us talk about the LCS, then you can watch us talk about the LCS. Then if you want to have us just talk about the LEC, you can have that as well. I actually do plan on doing an episode based around the LCK playoffs. I know that Gen G and T1 are going to be facing each other in the LCK 2022 Summer Split Playoffs. I hope Gen G win. I hope my boy Ruler wins over there for his first title. That'd be really good. That would be
choke.
I hope not. That'd be embarrassing if they did. I'm pretty sure Gen G should end up winning that series. I'm predicting 3-1 right now. That's my prediction.
I want to know what drugs you were on to say that Ruler deserved MVP this split over Prince.
He did. Who the fuck is playing out of his mind?
Nah, Prince deserved it. He carried Liv Sandbox.
He carried... No, you're actually on drugs. There's plenty to play. Yeah, let's be honest here. Liv Sandbox, you think they were actually a decent team with fucking... What is the top name? The top name, Dove? That was fucking
he's garbage. He's like the worst top.
I gotta go over their team again because I keep forgetting their players. I know Closer's on there, and I know that they have Prince.
It's Dove, Croco, Closer, Prince, and I believe what was it, Kale or
yeah. I don't know, man. Like I see their games, I can kind of tell why they're a decent team. I just don't think they're gonna be doing anything. Like they're probably gonna go to Worlds because the LCK is just like really bad right now. But it's hard pressed to call this team actually a good team. I see their games. They're just really a volatile team. Like, there's no real clear direction they have in game, generally. That's what I always got from them. Like, when they played against...
Yeah, they have one direction, play around Prince. That's it.
One direction has Harry Styles, but,
Okay.
Oh, yeah. But Ruler won MVP. Like, he definitely should have. I mean, that's just how it works, buddy. Gen G for life, Tiger Nation.
That's, biased with the voters. What are you going to do?
That's always happened.
Gen G fanboys and Ruler's
you're not gonna sit
here
and tell me that. You're not gonna ever tell me that Ruler played bad. Like, as long as they don't pick a bad player,
it was the best ADC to split, but Prince deserved MVP. That's just how it is.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, it is.
You can both have 2 good players, and you can pick the other one. That's literally how
Prince
that works.
Prince literally was way more valuable to. He literally was like the reason. Basically, they're there.
We're talking about Closer's been insane for them.
Closer and Croco are also good, but they're inconsistent at times, and they're not that great or anything. Like Prince, literally, he led player of the games. He pretty much carried them, I would say. Kale and Dove really struggled a lot.
I'll go back and watch a few of their games because you always tend to overrate people like really hard. I go back and watch the games.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely wasn't bad. Yeah, he was definitely bad. Yeah, just look at Gen G trying to dive him and then getting a double kill 3-1.
Regional finals,
bad playoffs. Right?
Give me a second. Regional finals, double playoffs. Live Sandbox right now. Yeah, so the gauntlet for the LCK is going to be, let's see. Okay. The gauntlet for the LCK is going to be Damwon versus Live Sandbox, and then you're going to have KT versus DRX. The only real match you have to really look at there is DK versus Liv Sandbox, because KT Rolls here should easily be in round 2. I mean, if KT loses to DRX, that'd be KT fashion. I'm just saying, like, KT are literally just basically rogue. They're literally, oof, God. Oh God.
But listen,
DRX
I think that was a great trade to make in Game 5. Cloud Soul.
Yeah, I want to
the
get away with
Nexus.
murder, dude.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Cloud Soul for the Nexus? That's the best trade.
Oh, no. I was talking about, like, when Damwon fucking picked Heimerdinger Game 5 against T1. I'm sitting there going, like, how can people tell me some of the teams that are performing very well in the LCK are good when you have Damwon literally running it down as hard as they can, and they're still going to have a chance to make Worlds?
Draft. What are you talking about?
Damwon are still going to have a chance to make Worlds despite playing, like, almost complete shit this year. Like, I feel so bad for Kangen. And people are like, oh my God, he's not been as good. It's like, what can he really do? Showmaker is essentially, like, not as good as he used to be. They chose to play Birdall over fucking, give me the name. Fuck. Naguri in the 1 series against T1. And then that one guy they brought in because their support had COVID. Sorry for that support that they had COVID. They brought the other guy in, played way better than fucking Keelan, who have been pretty much running it down most of the year. They choose, we don't need this guy. Let's just go with Keelan. It's like, fuck off. Damn. And you have KT Rolster. They're not a bad team either. I think Aiming's always been a pretty underrated ADC. Cuz is a solid jungler. Rascal, solid-ish top laner. It's a bunch of solid players coming together for them. They're not like anything great, but it's enough pieces to work with the play styles, and I think that's what's helping KT out.
I think you're just on drugs, man. All right, I think that Azir top was a really good pick.
I absolutely love how Damwon are like, you know what? We play standard in Game 4 to beat T1. Heimerdinger, center bot lane, exactly what we need. It's like
I'm really surprised it didn't work, man. I really thought it would work, right?
But then I looked at myself as like, okay, if a team like KT Rolster and a team like Damwon were firing on all cylinders, a team like Liv Sandbox wouldn't really be that good though. Because I've watched their games and it's I'm not super confident in them. I just don't really feel like they're doing anything extraordinary. They're just pretty much taking advantage of the top tier teams just being bad. Like a team with Beryl, Deft, PL Sick, and Kingen should be much better than Liv Sandbox on paper. Should be. I mean, Beryl's not bad. Def's about comparable with Prince. PL Sick and Kingen, pretty solid topside duo. Zeka, I think he's the only person really holding them back because, well, he's obviously a new player too. Unless he was on BLG last year, I think. Yeah, it was the guy with the Silas outplays. No, that's I don't know. I have to see a bit more Liv Sandbox games before I make a full decision on them. But if you guys are watching the LPL, I did get a chance to watch a few of the best of fives over there too. LNG were on a win streak, and then they faced JDG, and I didn't get a chance to see the last of the JDG series. I saw JDG just back and forth game with them in Game 1, and then in Game 2, Ale was just getting completely destroyed, and then I saw it was 2-0.
How does that dick taste?
Hey, man, of what?
Listen, I can't believe you actually doubted 369 Kanavi and
What's
Yagao.
wrong with you? Oh my goodness, you're like those fucking Redditors I fucking destroyed in our arguments. I have to be. I hate this guy so much. This dude's always like, why are you so hard on people? Because in that moment, if you're playing bad, I'm gonna call it out. I don't care if you become better 2 weeks later down the road.
I'm memeing.
This guy's not.
I am.
I'm gonna cover my tracks right now.
No. I'm memeing on that side, but no, on the other side, no, you are wrong. Because I'm not saying they aren't.
I'm not wrong in the moment if they're playing bad.
I'm not saying they are playing bad in that moment. But I said that by the end of it, they'll be this good.
On that. How would you know that?
By the end of this, they'll be this good, and then you're always like, "Nah, you're dumb."
How would you know that specifically?
Because I can see it in their gameplay. They just need more time.
Guy's crazy. This guy, I can see into the future.
Yes, they just need more time, and that happened with Fudge.
They need more time.
The reason why I defended Fudge was because he was playing bad and lock-ins and stuff, but he wasn't playing the worst. Like there were worse players like Revenge and stuff. People were. Now the Someday and like fucking Alfari games, you can give him all the shit for that. But outside of that, he wasn't playing that bad or as bad as people were saying. The reason why he was getting that extreme of hate was because before the start of the season, he just did banter and jokes, and people took it so seriously, just like they do with JoJo Pion and all them, because nobody can take a fucking joke ever. So yeah, that's what happened there. But other than that, no, I don't defend when they're playing bad.
Your mic is kind of messed with just a little bit.
It is.
Give me a sec. V5. What do you think about V5? Do you think V5 have a chance to make it to Worlds? Because the only way V5 makes Worlds is they go through the gauntlet. A team that was number one in the regular season for much of it.
I wanted them to make Worlds, but they're probably going to choke because that's what happens.
Also, if you guys are watching this, make sure you guys like the stream. Definitely helps out a lot on the replay and everything. Make sure to smash the like button. There you go.
Those fucking idiots on Twitter go. Travis Gafford and Wooloo are like the definitions of those people who fake their knowledge and sources in the scene until enough people believe them. Then they start giving them actual sources from others.
Unless you want to predict the LPL matches, because for the LPL, okay, for LCK guys, I don't know when is the finals for the LCK. Is it this week or the next week? Actually, I'm pretty sure it's like next week.
Don't know.
Let me see. LCK right now. Let me go to see when the finals are. Because the finals should be for the LCK, if you're watching, August 27th. That's gonna be, I think, on Friday, actually. Should be. Oh my goodness. Come on, internet. Load up. It's gonna be on Friday, actually, because it'll play like in the morning. Yep. So I'm predicting Gen G to win 3-1. Ruler gets his first title. And hopefully Chovy can fucking not choke against Faker. I think that's been the biggest problem for Chovy. If anyone's ever asked me all the time, is Faker is just a lot more of a complete player than Chovy. It's not that he's better at the moment. It's just more like he knows what his team needs in those clutch moments to actually pull it through for his team. Chovy, back in the day, was kind of what Faker was back in the day himself, just in a different season. And that kind of play style just doesn't really suit League of Legends anymore. Later on, hopefully, as he got older, you factor in, okay, he's going to be more of a complete player, because Chovy's really good, but he's not a complete player in the sense of, like, he knows what his team needs, and he'll, like, sacrifice on the map to let someone else carry.
He isn't the biggest choker in the fucking LCK now, because Jesus fuck, they've DK and just KT are, it's like they're having a competition of who throws harder. It's like that fucking God, that fucking throw for the soul in game 5 of KT. That wasn't for like a Chemtech soul. That was for a fucking clown soul, and they threw the game over that. Holy fuck.
Like, I swear, if enough people claim to watch LCK as much as they do, they would call out a lot of this LCK bullshit that a lot of these teams have been playing as really bad. But, you know, a lot of people are like, no, it's just still... Why do excuses work with some regions but not the other ones? I just don't get it. It's like, if an LCS team picked Heimerdinger and Senna in a game 5, and like, I think they picked what round? No, they picked the last pick. They picked Heimerdinger last pick, as they saw the whole comp and were like, definitely Heimerdinger, because obviously T1 wouldn't know how to punish that. It's like, LCS teams would get fucking ragged doing that. It's like, now Damn would have to go through the gauntlet. If they hadn't picked that, they were gaining steam in the series. I mean, it was back and forth. So, yeah, that's who I'm picking, guys. I'm going Gen G 3-1 over T1. I mean, if T1 win, 3-2. Holy shit.
3-2.
I mean, if T1 win, that'd be fucking insane. This is Faker's, like, 11th final as a player, despite him not even being the best mid laner. He's just a good mid laner on one of the better teams in the LCK. Zeus is, like, the best top laner.
Has there only been, like, 1 or 2 times he lost in finals?
I think so.
In LCK, like I know he lost the most recent, well, the one before this spring split, but like 3-0 or something. Was there any others?
I have to go back in my mind and remember. I know for sure was the Longzhu one. Okay, I know for sure was the Longzhu one, and that one I know for sure. And then there was the time he didn't make the finals because KT beat them, and that's when KT faced Rox.
Okay, so I think it was just Longzhu and then Damn won and. At one time.
Oh yeah, he lost last year against Damwon, and then
because the only other times they didn't make finals, like even when the Dam won the split or year they won Worlds, it was like Gen G that was in finals or something.
Yeah, or they got upset by DRX. Yeah. All right, let's go to the LPL. So the LPL, if you guys are watching the LPL, Monday, it's Top Esports versus EDG. Man, TN. No, sorry, that already played. Sorry. That already played. Top Esports beat EDG. That was a pretty close series. TN definitely stepped up really, really hard this year over what happened to him last year at Worlds. JDG stomped LNG. Yeah, I remember I watched that. That was a complete shellacking. Now you have the losers bracket matchup. You have EDG versus LNG. Man, that's pretty much a toss-up. I mean, I don't know, man. EDG has not looked really good this year for like a decent amount of it. They did kind of pick it up toward the latter half of this year. I don't know. LNG is also pretty coin flippy.
Coin flip.
Yeah, EDG and LNG are pretty much even, I would say, across the board. I would say this. I think I would definitely still go for EDG because I'm not going to trust Ale in the top lane after what ended up happening to him against JDG. Definitely not. Like, the bot lane of Love Mao and Light are like, ugh. Like, I don't know. I don't know how this team got through those many wins. You just got to factor in LNG beat Weibo, BLG, and V5. So you have to look at the strength of schedule, and you also have to look at the strength of matches they played. BLG, that's a free win. If you've watched the LPL, that's a free win. Weibo, not exactly a free win, but they're super inconsistent, so probably the same ballpark. V5, I don't think I watched that series. I don't think I did. But V5 ended up losing. So I'm going to assume since I went to 5 games, I'll have to go back and watch the series, and I'll have a more update information of knowledge on that series next week's episode. I'd imagine that was pretty close. Because you can find it's V5 with Rookie and Karsa. You know, Fotic's actually pretty good. V5 definitely were good a decent amount of summer, but started falling off toward the back end of it. Brought it back a little bit. Then they ended up losing to JDG. So I'm pretty sure EDG is definitely going to end up beating them this time around. Now, EDG have always been shown to be pretty good in BO5s. Like last year, they started picking up steam in BO5s toward the summer. This summer, they did it. They beat FPX. They beat RNG. They lost to Top Esports. Now they're going to face LNG. I'm going for EDG in this matchup. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're definitely not the best anymore. I mean, that's what happens, I guess, when you don't have T1, RNG, Gen G, and Dam1 completely giving them wins at Worlds, and when the LPL actually has depth. Because, the LPL's depth was weak as fuck last year. I'm sorry, Warren kept bitching at me. Listen, I'm not discrediting their win at Worlds. I said congratulations. They were great. I even defended Scout and said that he would be MVP of finals and carry them to win when some asshole on this panel.
We were defending him.
Yeah, when this asshole was trying to say that Showmaker would destroy him and that me and Warren were dumb. All right, but it's just a literal fact. RNG played better than them. Just all 5 drafts. They drafted like complete apes.
But the thing you forget is even though they drafted better, EDG played out their early game better. You go back and watch those games, dude. EDG were winning in the early game. They were though.
And crying, what the fuck, Jesus Christ! I hope crying get poisoned for one thing.
You are playing revisionist history hard. If you go back and watch the EDG and RNG series, they weren't gonna win, dude. They were losing the series itself. I don't know how they went to 5 games. How they go to 5 games? RNG were running it down hard. Let's see. Did it go to 5 games?
Doesn't matter. I know RNG wasn't perfect. I said
they weren't better. No way they were better.
No, they were better.
Not even close. They were drafting maybe better.
Yes.
Maybe drafting better. Maybe.
No, sorry. If the drafts were better, RNG would have won. I agree with you all the issues with RNG, but they still would have won if they just
even when their drafts was better, their early games were still not as good. EDG still had a better early game.
Yeah, but they still eventually won when their drafts were good.
Their early games still weren't better. The problem here is that EDG were just a bit of a faster team than them. They were always drafting for like mid to late game. EDG were always drafting for early game, and they were playing their late game champions like early game champions.
I'm not disagreeing with their weaknesses. They were still better.
So how can a mid to late game team win against an early game strong team if the early game strong team is losing to the late game champions? That would make any sense, right?
Well, let's say you draft to your strengths and stop drafting shit like Annie mid twice. How about that?
Hey man, RNG did draft to their strengths. They just lost. It's hard too.
No, they did not draft to their strengths.
You need to go back and watch these games. You are blind.
Oh, I did. They drafted like a bunch of apes, and then Gumayushi and Baker would have definitely beat them in finals. But then they're like, "Hey, I want to go to the karaoke bar early," so they're like, "Yeah, let's throw against Damwon." And then a weak ass Damwon's in the finals, and they still almost beat them. That was a fucking disaster. Worlds. All those teams were so weak. But anyway, unlike that year, LPL looks strong as fuck now this year. So yeah, and that's what happens. Now they're not one of the best teams. They're still like top 4, but
who are you going for? Are you going to go for LNG or EDG?
Well, I'm going to go for EDG just because of the veteran presence. I think I honestly just feel like LNG is going to fucking throw.
Did you get a chance to watch JDG versus LNG?
Oh, did you not?
I did. I watched it.
Oh, well, did you see that? Did you see that great move by Yagao in the base?
I don't know what happened to Yagao. He became a carry player all of a sudden. When I was watching this guy, he was just playing just a bit better than Bjergsen. I was like, just
tried using the XK and you got left behind at the base.
That's me. I'm picking EDG. LNG, nah. I've had enough time to see a lot of their games this year.
I'll go 3-1 EDG.
Yeah. EDG 3-1. That's what we're going with. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the LCS. So we did LCK predictions. We'll have a dedicated LCK episode after the final plays this week. Then obviously next week, like we're probably gonna end up having 3 episodes at some point. We gotta do the LCK, covering all their playoffs. That we're just all doing them. Then the LCS episode for the playoffs and for the LEC. Now, what we'll most likely do is do the LCK and then combine an LCS and LEC episode so you still get your 2. But yeah, sorry guys, I've just been so busy recently with some stuff, so that's why you didn't have the 2 episodes this week. But next week we'll resume getting the 2 episodes out. All right, so let's talk about the LCS now. The LCS, it was Team Liquid versus Flyquest, and I'm pretty sure we got our predictions correct. I was literally just 1 game off from having them both correct. I predicted Team Liquid to win 3-2, Cloud9 to beat CLG 3-2. I knew the C9 and CLG series would go the distance because they were both pretty much even at a lot of different areas. Like, if you pick CLG over Cloud9, that's not the worst thing ever because CLG did look better for a decent majority of the
and
split.
they were beating them in all their best of ones.
Right? Wait, I'm pretty sure they went 1-1, right? Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they went 1-1.
But CLG honestly should have won both of those, and even the split before they were like, they beat them one time after the LS Fire and they just always looked better against Cloud9, even if they went 1-1 or what.
I don't remember about this summer. I remember the last summer split. I remember this summer split. That game they played, they won. The other previous game they could play against CLG, I don't remember that game specifically. I have to go back and watch it. But if you picked CLG over Cloud9, makes perfect sense. I wouldn't get mad at you. Now, talking about Team Liquid versus Flyquest, so let's go over to the bracket right now as it stands, because the reason why we had to end up doing the episode earlier this week, guys, is because they actually have games tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They're 13 and military time is 1 o'clock. So if you have a job, they do time in military time for all you young guys out there. So I know you young guys out there in high school are told time is whatever way you learn it, which is the way you learn it. But at a job, they do military time. 13 is 1, 14 is 2, 15 is 3. So at 1 o'clock tomorrow, you have TSM versus Flyquest. Then on Friday at 1 o'clock, you have Golden Guardians versus CLG. So talking about Team Liquid versus Flyquest, I don't know. Okay. I don't even know where to start, honestly. I mean, okay. So most people predicted Team Liquid. Okay, let's get that right out of the way. Most people predicted Team Liquid. Fair enough, right? That series was not as clean as I've seen a lot of people point out. You go back and watch those games, there's a lot of moments Flyquest definitely fucked up pretty hard, and they could have maybe brought it to at least 5 games. That's what I'll say. I don't think Team Liquid looked as clean as a lot of people said. I know in Game 4, they smashed pretty hard. Yeah, if Johnson's picking fucking Vayne against the Sivir. They picked Vayne and Alistar against Sivir and fucking, what was it, Yumi? Yeah, you deserve to lose. What the fuck? Like, what is that? Then, Game 1, Flyquest win. And then people say, oh, that's the TL we saw in BO1s. Yeah, a Team Liquid looking like that in BO1s still kind of look like that. and the rest of the series too. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit more dominant on Team Liquid side, but I still wasn't thoroughly convinced this was a super dominant team. You know, there was moments there where it's super dominant, pretty much 80% through it. There's a little small 20%. You're like, Flyquest could have definitely maybe brought it a bit closer than what happened, but Team Liquid still ended up winning. I don't know what you think, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like what I expected. I figured they would have either one win when they're down 2-0 or at the very start, just throw them off a bit. And with Team Liquid, like a bit of like limits testing or whatnot, and they would just like the whole game. Team Liquid was just pretty like Flyquest didn't really outperform them. It's just they were pretty slow, didn't really do much, and then after that they woke up and yeah, it wasn't clean because Team Liquid isn't a great team. Like honestly, Cloud9 and CLG might be better than them, but I mean, but they're better than Flyquest, and eventually just prevailed. Yeah. I mean, just outgapped whatever.
I think the best player on Team Liquid I would still have right now is just either between Bwipo, Hansama, or Court JJ. Now, I don't know about people, but Court JJ hasn't really
Santorin is.
I've not liked Santorin much either, though. It's really hard to pick who's between these teams, right?
I'm sorry. Bwipo has struggled a lot. Bjergsen has struggled a lot. Hansama has struggled a lot. Core JJ's been great. Again, he's always great.
I don't think he's been great at all.
But he has. But well, great. I'm saying he hasn't been like impactful compared to other supports. But he's always still just a great player. Knows all the, knows all the, just does everything well. All the base, just like Afro move.
I don't know, man. I think this split he's not been that good at all. Even just
looking at out of all the players, I'd say it's Santorin. Like he has been kind of
like Bwipo had a pretty okay split. This series specifically, he looked pretty off. This series, Santorin looked pretty solid. I don't know how big. Like if you watch this series back, and someone's gonna honestly tell me to my face that Abadage was worse than Bjergsen, you are on drugs. You are on complete drugs. This Bjergsen is not good. He was like okay, given the status of the mid laners in spring. He was like okay. Somehow that still got him top 3. I mean, we really had no one else to really pick. This split, oh hell no, this guy been playing like shit. If you watch this game and you watch the other ones, not really that good. It's really based in just him playing pretty much just super safe, not taking any risks, not really doing much, and just getting pretty much, okay, I'll just scale late to just have my Swain take over the game. That's pretty much it. I don't really think, I wouldn't say he's like the weakest mid laner in playoffs. He's still going to get away with a lot of the stuff that he's doing because just the players around him. I think that Hansama started off really bad in the split. This series, he looked particularly pretty good. Core JJ, split not too good, but in the series, he looked pretty all right. And that's the thing with best of fives is they're going to be just a holistically a lot different than BO1s. This game specifically, this is the Team Liquid we've been seeing all split long. But in the other 2 games, that's why people said they like more games because they can show you who the real better team is. And yes, anyone's watching this, yes, Team Liquid are the better team. That's not debatable. But this isn't a super dominant best of 5 where it's just a complete shellacking all the way through. Game 4 was, and game, what was game 2? Yeah, game 3 and 4 were. I would say game 2 was decently closer, but the problem here is like Philip had a really strong game with the Gore Drinker Aatrox. Philip pretty much fell off every single game afterwards. Jose Diodo is just not good. Jose Diodo is going to get changed out. I don't see a world where he stays in the team anymore. This guy's been completely shit.
I wouldn't say that. It's just they need somebody more consistent.
And not him.
He's a bit coin flip. He's been like kind of like contracts on Golden Guardians. It's just he has a better team around him. So he has a better team around him, so he can afford making those mistakes. Like sort of like Mike Young before, and then he went to TSM and like
look at that right there. Why would he do this? Look at this. This guy's terrible.
Yeah, again, he's just
straight up ran it down, and they're in a winning position in the game.
Of how good his team is, this split, he could afford these mistakes, but if
he can't. No
yeah, but
way,
if he was, no, I'm saying if he was on another team, like let's say say Golden Guardians, I imagine no, he would like would look like contracts.
He would look
When
like
he was
no,
bad.
no,
When he was
man.
bad.
When he was bad, yeah, no, for sure, yeah. When he's bad, yeah. But I think in this series, he was just such a huge liability. I don't see them. I don't know how Flyquest is gonna play out the rest of this playoffs, but just from this series alone, I know people were like, I would love to see Tukuli at Worlds. That's great. That's great, but not on this team. If Flyquest, I don't think they're gonna be going to Worlds at all. Doesn't really matter in terms of that.
I would definitely keep Philip in next year. I would maybe look for again. So if you're gonna switch out Jose Dioto, maybe
I don't know who you get.
Who do you think would be an option for an import ADC?
Knowing what Flyquest has done with some of their players, I think they would just bring up a native player. I think that's what they would actually do.
I mean,
I think they would just do that.
What you think, like Yon?
Someone, because they've shown they're not. They'll definitely switch out a known player for a.
I mean, I don't know why Neo's fucking in Academy, but I mean, he's been destroying the fucking tournament in Academy.
Dignitas's.
Yeah, they're probably going to win. It's almost like Gamzu and Neo should be in LCS over whoever the fuck you're playing. Whatever.
Like Aframu, I've been an Aframu defender for a while. This particular series, he played. I don't know. It's something like I think they were surprised they actually won a game against Team Liquid because they played fine in game 1. They played pretty okay in game 2, and then you think to yourself, okay, they lost game 2 pretty convincingly toward the very end, but it wasn't like they're playing bad.
Okay, yeah, now that move was fucking terrible. Let's not talk about that.
That we don't talk about that.
Other than that, though, I mean, the thing is this with Aframu, again, it's the same thing. I said it to describe Core JJ. It's basically that, but just a weaker version of him where he doesn't do anything that impactful or in the game or that noticeable. He's just like a good veteran, like the guy who does all the small things right that other supports might mess up on, and that's why he's been in OCS for a while and he's solid, but yeah, don't expect him to like do anything like on what's his name on like Vulcan's level or whatnot.
I think TL later on in the series just kept out drafting them. Like the fact that Flyquest later on in the series would take Vayne and Alistar versus Sivir and Leona, just like I don't think you can draft worse than that. I don't think you can draft even worse than what they have right now. I don't know what is this LeBlanc priority for a lot of these teams. I just don't get it. Like Tukuli gets LeBlanc, doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I really do not get it. Like, really not that good this meta. Like, and that's why I was shitting myself in that game 5 with.
Good job, Philip. He's gonna lose his trade.
Yeah, like
why would Philip even be there? Good job, Philip. He's about to die right now.
I know we're not. We'll talk to it when we get to it. But Jesus fuck, Cloud9 literally drafted like the 5 champs they were worst at all season, like LeBlanc and shit, and then they gave CLG like their best comfort picks besides the mid lane champ. And I'm so surprised they won that. But
it's almost just like the first game was just TL warming up on stage, and that's the problem with BO1s is were those games they lost a lot of just warm up games, and if you factor in if that was a BO3, they would just win the series. I don't know. That's not the world we live in.
You can always win best of ones, like they did it against Team Liquid in 2019 or 2018 when Pobelter was on their roster as well.
Yeah,
like it happens.
So that's my thing with Flyquest, guys. I just think Jose Dioto's been not good the entire split. He's been bad. Like if they switch him out, I'm not surprised. He's not been playing good. He's one of the biggest liabilities for the team. Philip, later on as the series progressed, you could see why Philip was worse than Bwipo, just taking unfavorable trades. He was laning okay. Remember in one of the games where they were winning it and he tried to flank on Renekton and he didn't even have his ult up? I was like, oh Lord, oh my God.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that's like Bwipo outplaying him. That's literally just the team around Bwipo and then Philip just being going for too aggressive.
It's a combination of like, he's just the better player, but the first game is like, okay, you get the better pick. It picked what? Aatrox into, what was it? Olaf? Yeah, that's going to be more favorable for Olaf. Aatrox early on. I think he just had the better pick in game 1. Later on, as the series went, you're like, okay, Philip is just the worst player. He's just not helping him out.
I don't know.
After this, he lost like every laning phase. He wasn't that impactful.
I'm just saying, I really don't think it's anything to do with Bwipo. I really don't think he played well either. I think it's literally just Philip being a rookie, all the mistakes, and then just
But that's what you expect going into these series,
team
though.
around and
His
the team
rookie
around
mistakes
Phil.
later on, you could see them. You could see all of them. Trying to flank with no ult.
Jesus fuck.
Laughing so hard. Flanking with no ult. My brain almost just completely just exploded. I was like, okay, dude, good job. Sounds like my games and my solo queue games. Those are great.
Now Johnson, this split, again, they got him. It's just like tactical. There were way better options. Honestly, there was a chance he could have ended up in academy, but they got him. They try to reignite that chemistry with Afromu. And I mean, it worked out to where they were a solid bot lane, which was better than expected with where they're ranked individually as players. But for the most part, Johnson, he hasn't been bad. It's just like the best way of describing it is like
middle of the pack.
I would say the best way to describe it is like definitely on EG. Like he's competent, but do not give him like many kills at all to like try to carry game. He's just not.
The only champions he's really performed very well on was Lucian, Sivir, and Aphelios. Those only champions he really looked great on. Everything else he looked pretty solid on. That's all the best I can really give him. Like he looked solid on most champions, but he only played 3 exceptionally well. And it's like, so they don't really have a carry threat on their team. And a lot of their early game is built around Takuli getting a lead, Afromu helping him out, Afromu also teaming up with Jose Diodo. Jose Diodo and Afromu synergies not really that good. I mean, most people predicting TL, it makes sense, honestly. It's just looking back at this game, it's just like, okay, TL were definitely doing well, but if Flyquest had 1 or 2 maybe different players or played a bit differently and more aggressive when they could have, series probably goes maybe in their favor. I don't know. That's just the feeling that I got from it, But you never know. All right, so Team Liquid end up beating Flyquest. They're going to end up facing 100 Thieves next round, right? Yeah, they face 100 Thieves. Yep. Whoo, that is going to be a week. This is all packed games, right? Because I think they happened this week, right? 27th. Yep. So we have games between Thursday through Sunday in BO5s. Hell yeah. I like that. Sweet.
I'll go 100
Not
Thieves.
yet.
Oh, okay.
We had to talk about Cloud9 versus
I forgot this series existed, right?
Cloud9 versus CLG. Now, most people predicted it was going to be a 3-2 because both teams are pretty well even. This is also another interesting series to talk about because okay, people on social media were like, this is a really, really bad series. I don't know. Series was pretty hype. They had a lot of great outplays. You had Baron steals, stomps, back and forth team fighting. Then you have shit like that, where the CLG bot lane get completely shit on most games. Then you have the games where C9's bot lane gets shitted on. And it's like, it's a pretty back and forth series. I mean,
it's like now there again, you can, obviously, like, it being so back and forth and entertaining and competitive and like, straight and back and just how bloody it was and just hype. Obviously, some of it is just great outplays and skill. Some of it is just players not doing well. Like, sure, but either whatever, who cares? Like, I just don't get people. What do you want out of a best of 5 series? Is this really not good enough? Is this not entertaining for you?
Yeah, because people on social media were like, "Oh my god, the teams played so bad." I was like, "What games did you?" I mean, that's gonna happen. Like, it's hard.
Like, it really likes League of Legends. Like, a lot of there's a certain point you reach with a learning curve where a lot of it kind of just sometimes comes down to when a team, the first team that met slips up. That's just how it works in League.
Also, I think people need to understand this though. Players that have won a lot of best of 5s over the course of League of Legends, all these seasons, a lot of those series, they still make mistakes. All that matters is, do you make enough good decisions to overweigh out your bad mistakes? That's all I mean.
It's like are people really going back to that EDG versus T1 game and bitching about how all those mistakes, they were like 15k gold down? No, because they came back. It's like, holy fuck, it's like all the best teams make mistakes in every game, even when they win.
Yeah,
pretty much.
but against the other teams that make those mistakes, those get forgiven because, oh, well, they did this to come back. It's like, yeah, but so did this team too. They just did it in a different way, which is fine, actually. Imagine
people
Luger
also have
playing
that bias for, like LPL as well. It's like there'll be a player that will int, but his int looks cool and mechanically good, like on the support for Weibo. So they'll be like, oh, that was epic. Imagine if that was an NA.
So this game, I was pretty good on with Fudge picking Kennen top. I was like, Kennen top. I was thinking, like, we don't see Kennen anymore. Fudge plays Kennen against Sejuani. I think Kennen has a pretty favorable matchup against Sejuani. A lot more team fight impact with the slicing maelstrom. The flanking potential is a whole lot better. I think throughout the series, Blabber, we saw Blabber from the regular season. We also saw the high highs that Blabber can have. The game where Luger walks in to... Oh my goodness, the game where Luger threw it for them. Luger threw it for them on Zera because he walked into the mist right here on Viego. You see where our map is? Blabber's playing Viego. The mist is right here. Luger's like, I'll just walk in a fog of war. Dies. Series is over.
Yeah.
Rookie mistake. You can't do that in VO5. That's going to cost you the series.
Happens in playoffs, I guess. But yeah, Blabber, again, just holy fuck.
Some games he played good. Some games he played bad. I was like,
why can't he play consistent? You know, I'm not even asking him to play amazing as he does in other games. Just at least consistently very good or great. And then I would be cool if having him on the team still all these years. But holy fuck, just why does he have to be so inconsistent? I've never seen this from a player of his caliber.
Yeah, thank you. The games were nice. It's all these co-streamers complaining like bitches about everything, but when LCK and LPL they get a pass. Yeah, this series had, like, if you watch the series, they had everything. Baron steals,
and you see that
stomps,
is the one
mechanical outplays. It had everything, and plus this was a hyped up series. CLG and Cloud9 had been pretty even most of the split. CLG having the favor in the regular split. Like, CLG had the favor in the regular split toward the pretty much the latter end of it. Like, they're pretty even. So you factor in both teams. It was going to be an explosive series because everyone knows CLG is going to actually be really aggressive in the early game. That was
imagine Luger playing in Truck 1. Oh, he would get murdered.
You guys are assholes. You guys are assholes. Oh my god.
Holy fuck. But yeah,
shit.
See
right here.
How did he miss that smite?
This is the thing that I don't really know why NA teams keep doing this. Ever since, like, I want to say 2020. Yeah, about 2020, there's NA teams that get picks on players. They could set up their waves, push them out, then take towers, then take Baron after that. Okay, the reason why you do that, for anyone who's watching, is because you don't just do Baron right here because you can, just because you think you can. You want to push out the waves, take down structures, have them, when they recall, take out these minions because they can't actually, they shouldn't be coming up to you. You want to set up your map more. What teams do, instead of just doing what I just told you, they one pick, let's do Baron. That's not a really, you can't be 50-50 Baron like that. That against the Asian teams will get you punished. You really can't be doing that.
I really don't get it. And especially when they're like low health and shit. It's just,
right here.
Had like some of the worst Baron calls all season. They understand it.
They killed Dokla right here. Why not have Kennen push out top? Okay. Why not have your Sivir push out mid? They lost mid. Instead of just going for Baron. CLG can't go for Baron. They know they can't. They know they're in the weaker position right now, and they got it stolen anyway. So what was the point of doing Baron?
It's like fucking Cloud9 old season. It's like, okay, we got to pick off of the support. Let's go Baron now. Yeah, that's gonna work. And then they just get all their health melted down by the Baron because it's like 21 minutes, and they're like, yeah, let's not run away. This is good. Oh shit! How did we miss the bear? Oh, how did they clean us up in ASOS? Wow, that's so shocking. It's like,
and I think
fuck did you expect?
People that were talking about this series were like saying CLG should have won the series when you have certain players of theirs who were just playing. I don't know, man. Like Luger, Poom, and Contracts all played great. Like we told people before, Palafox is not on Azir, Orianna, and I think it was another champion.
It's mainly Azir and Yone he pops off on.
Yeah, Azir, Yone, and Orianna. He doesn't really do anything. He looks okay on Sylas, but he's not going to look as he's not going to look as good on Sylas as good as on Yone.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he played holistically bad, but this was his first actual BO5. And factor in For scrims, you play BO5s. If this is what he really looks like outside of one game, that's not good.
It's like
that's
there's
not good
so
at
many
all.
people that keep trying to say he has a huge champion pool, and it's like, it's true.
He's a champion puddle, right?
No, he does. No, it's true. Palafox does have a huge champion pool, but he doesn't play them that well. It's just decent. And that's what we've been saying all year. The only champs he plays very good with are really those three.
So then the rest of this game played out in Cloud9's favor. Game 2 was probably the closest one, and this is why I don't understand why people were like, CLG should have won the series. In this game right here specifically, they made like 3 attempts to go after the base and kept dying in the base despite actually being ahead in gold with a Zeri, a Lulu, a Silas, and a Trundle themselves. Cloud9 were fighting their way all the way back into the game.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely stupid to not ban the Zeri, but whatever.
They kept letting Zeri through, and I was like, if you can't play up against Zeri that well, just get rid of it. Now,
yeah, and especially if you're going to go to the later game, which Cloud9 usually does. That's what I don't get it. They always go to like the later game, but then they don't ban out the OP late game champs. It's so weird.
Game 2 was just completely back and forth. CLG had the better early game, but then later on, Cloud9 fought it back because CLG just kept running into them. Like, Dokla is decent liability in the playoffs for CLG. I mean, he just is over someone like Luger, someone like Poom. And the problem here is most people understand, this is actually well-known knowledge, public knowledge because people say this stuff. These guys play scrim blocks, which is more than one game. If this is how CLG looks after more than one game, I'm not really convinced they're going to be making worlds like some people are. They messed up 3 times to get into the base, team taking an inhibitor. That's the team that should have won? Really? That's the team that should have won. They messed up 3 times in this game on how to actually break the base. With the better comp. Are you your mom? Okay, but they should have won the series. Okay, whatever fucking crack people want to smoke.
Yeah, those people are just on drugs. And how are you doing,
actually,
guys?
Watch that
pretty
game
good.
Again.
Thanks, Matthew.
Actually, watch that game again and tell me if CLG should have won the series. Game 3, okay, let me skim through a bit. Okay, game 3 was the one CLG got a bit more kills early on, and I still don't know why. The problem here is it almost felt like CLG were kind of surprised they were winning some of these trades, almost as if like they weren't doing well against them in scrims, and we're like, okay, on stage, we might play better on stage. It's like, they kind of did. They pretty much did, but...
Oh, yeah, did you hear that Fudge interview with EG?
I don't think Fudge should be talking shit against EG.
Again, and then watch, they're going to lose to EG, and then everybody's going to, like, just send him so much shit to him online, acting like he wasn't joking out of his ass with that and
right
being sarcastic.
Right here, if CLG are supposed to be the better team, let me play this for you guys right here. So Dokla getting caught out and losing his team the game. Name a more iconic duo, right? So Palafox picking Ari. Like, this comp right here is, the comps are about even. I would say I don't think anyone wins draft here. I think maybe it's a slighter favor toward C9 because of the engage with Nautilus. CLG starts a fight right here, okay? So then right after, okay, you see Palafox right here going, Palafox spirit rushes forward into 1, 2, 3, 5 people right here, okay? Then he has to immediately Zhonya's, gets knocked up, gets chunked out. Somehow the bot lane is getting destroyed. Luger is over on the other side. Yeah, Palafox completely entered that game right there for them. Like, they're already literally spirit rushed into 5 people, having 2 Zhonya's afterwards, and then the fucking jungler and Poom and Conscious are like, okay, I don't know what our mid laner is doing. He must be on crack, but that's how it works. Game 4, it was a complete shellacking. They let the Zeri go through again. I was surprised how many games Cloud9 let Zeri through. I was like, okay, it's looking pretty concerning here. That's Sean's type of girl right there. He likes some fucking cocoa caramel girls. This man's lying to me.
Holy fuck! It's like, fuck you out this game.
So this game was a stomp. Game 4 was now. This is the CLG people wanted to see. This game 4, if you zero in on this game 4, CLG definitely were this team that people thought of in their heads. I like that Contracts was on Poppy. I was like, okay, this is the creative drafting that CLG did in the regular season. Palafox on his best champion, Yone, or one of his best champions, either that or Azir. Contracts was on Poppy, something he could have an early game impact on. Luger on Zeri, pretty darn good. You also have Poom on Renata. Poom's pretty good. Renata, good good holistic comp right here. Kali got ahead. Everything worked for CLG this game. Then in game 5, the moment that stopped them from winning this series, because this was back and forth holistically, because you also have CLG in game 5 picking Vex, and they're factoring in Cloud9. It's like, okay, we'll take the Lulu. CLG, what are you going to take? CLG are like, okay, we'll take Karma because Karma can speed and chill and heal. Zeri is going to be much more impactful later on as the game moves on.
I was shit in the... Okay, that was a huge mistake by fucking Jensen. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. This was now this game could have been a lot.
That almost cost them the game. You know,
just
like when Perks was caught out against that rogue tiebreaker, that almost cost them.
Now, I don't know why CLG picked Vex into LeBlanc. LeBlanc is better than Vex as the champion.
Yo, they, again, not only did CLG outdraft them for the most part, but Cloud9, like, all these champs for the most part, besides, like, the Lulu, are champs they've been struggling with all season for some reason.
Gwen is going to end up out-dueling Sage.
Yes, and then CLG's champs are, like, their best comfort pick champs, and then that they've been playing the best on all season. It was only the Vex, though. The Vex was such a stupid pick. I don't get that.
I don't know why they didn't... I mean, was Zir or Yone or Silas banned for them on Cloud9
even Yasuo would have been fucking better. I don't care.
Yeah, because... you factor in, like, I don't know why NA teams have been picking LeBlanc as much as they have, but they were like, you know what? I'm going to end up picking Vex for this comp. I get kind of like, I don't even get why the Vex is here. The Vex is what? Just going to dive in and fear them? It's like, but you have Cyber Spell Shield, you have Polymorph, Vago can obviously dash away, Sejuani can ult right into her. I mean, I just don't get it, honestly. Then later on, CLG got a few picks and they end up getting the Baron. That misplay from Jensen really cost them.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, hold on, is Victor still in the meta?
I don't think I've seen anyone play Victor, honestly. Dude, you know what's crazy? I haven't seen anyone play Syndra, Victor, Cassiopeia, other mages like Twisted Fate. Zoe? What happened to them?
Because I was gonna say, like, Syndra or Victor, if they were still in the meta, that would be a fine pick as well. But,
Victor could have worked out great in this comp, actually. Would have worked out fine for me. CLG start using their Baron, and it's right here. The game is over for them. Right here. Yes. Okay. So let's see. Okay, Dokla getting cut out. Maybe more iconic duo than that. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So just to answer the thing there, Zayak. You see that's my biggest problem with those co-streamers. As much as I love, like, I Will Dominate and others for the most part, and respect their opinion, and, you know, even others that are more 50-50, like Double, if they do that shit all the time with their region, and it's so annoying, and then they give all the others free passes. And then it's like they act like NA is just so much worse than, like, EU and other regions as well. It's like they actually have, like, bipolar disorder, all these co-streamers.
I assume I'm
German's better player than
plug in you ain't.
Yeah, well, listen, I am, as much as these guys hate on him, I actually really like that. You know, we have I Am German, TSM Dunk, because, you know, with all the incels in League of Legends, it's about time we have some of them in our community, right?
Oh my lord, you guys ain't shit. You guys are trash. You guys are just garbage. Okay.
Holy fuck.
Right here is when the game's over for CLG. This is how you can tell they're rookies and they make mistakes. Right here after this. So this is when they pick off Dokla. Right here. Okay, remember this. They get the shutdown on Sivir. Okay. So then they clear out the vision. Okay. So CLG's positioning right here. This, you can tell this is still a new team. They're going to make these mistakes in BO5s. You can tell. So right here, Contracts doesn't die. Zeri chunks them out. This is what you assume, right? This is what the CLG's comp should look like. Karma speeds up. Trundle pillars. Zeri poke. Sounds good, right? Vex will jump in, fear them, right in choke point. Sounds good. Then what Luger does is Luger chases into Fog of War. Blabber waits. He knows he's going to go right there, and he completely gets him right there. That's game's over. Game's over. You get that big of a shutdown onto Zeri, it's over. They can just obviously push out the map. That's when you get Baron. That is exactly when you get Baron. Nothing on Cloud9 needs to get pushed out. They already have mid pushing, they have top pushing, they have bot pushing. That's when you do Baron. There you go. Perfect example of it. Now you can take Baron. You're going to get the Baron buff, and your waves are already pushing out. You're going to be in a much favorable position to get the other outer tier turrets. Okay? Now, people gave Luger some shit for that. He's a rookie. He's going to make those mistakes in BO5s, but I think overall he played really well in the series. I mean, against who do CLG play against? They play against Golden Guardians. I'm not gonna pick Golden Guardians over CLG. I'm picking CLG over against Golden Guardians. If you pick Golden Guardians over CLG, you're on drugs. But yeah, after that, Cloud9 ended up defeating CLG. They move on to the next round. This series was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but Cloud9 pulled it through. I'm glad. Now, I'm not still holistically convinced by Cloud9, but I guess this series was a start in the right direction. I mean, there have been playoff series over time where, like a team struggles in the regular season, comes into playoffs, has a back and forth first playoff series, then the next playoff series, they play a whole lot better. The next playoff series, they play a whole lot better. And you see that team sometimes even winning the finals, actually. So that happened also last split with G2, where G2 struggled for a decent part of the regular season. When they got in the playoffs, they played up against Team Vitality for that first round, knocked them out. They played up against, Misfits, knocked them out. Played up against Fnatic, knocked them out. Played up against, Rogue, finished them off. So, like, sometimes teams that struggle in the regular season, sometimes you need this series to kind of work out all your kinks and problems, because now you're looking at it and going, is there a way you can specifically look at Cloud9 differently compared to the series? Because they did look a whole lot better in some early game fashion. Though I do think their early game is still fairly weak. This was a lot more to look at in terms of games than just what we have right here. Let me get this Discord message right here. Oh, so who's messaging me? Oh, it's WZ. He's messaging me. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so let me get that done. Come on, Discord. Why does Discord load up so slowly, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I barely use it much anymore. Just because.
I assume I'm
yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
all right. So that rounds it up. All right. So now we have 4 BO5s to predict. Tomorrow, TSM versus Flyquest. Fuck. What? I
didn't realize there were 4 games. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
in a
BO5
row,
from
okay.
Thursday to Sunday for
Damn.
LCS.
Damn, okay. But anyway, I'll go Fly 3-2. I think there's a chance of a TSM update. I do. Upset, I mean. No, so just fuck those incel TSM Discord moderators and Twitter moderators.
Who touched you?
Again, now I already told the story about those incels that literally banned me for the equivalent of literally being a Cloud9 fan, all their stupidity. One of the things they did, though, and tried to pin me as a troll, was I literally just said, like all the options you run through Mia, Shenhe, all them, I think Chime would legit perform better if you gave him a chance. And they thought I was trolling and labeled me as that. And that's literally been the case, so go fuck yourselves. Anyway, now, why is Golden Guardians here? This is a disgrace to humanity that they're even here. And over Immortals, I just want to... Can they just get a bye? Can CLG just get, like, a week off? That would be better. So if Golden Guardians even wins a game, it would be complete luck. But if they do, then I'll eat.
Okay. The only way Golden Guardians wins is if Luger did exactly what he did in that game 5. There's the only way you win a game.
No, the only way they win is if CLG just collapse. That's it. There's no way Golden Guardians will ever win from.
No way on paper Golden Guardians should even win a game. If CLG drops a game,
not even a game. I'll eat my sock.
If CLG drop a game, guys, I'm done. No, you cannot be losing to a team this bad. I'm jumping off
the bridge with a fucking noose.
So going 3. This should be a 3-0. If you watch
it's a 3-0.
This will be some of the fastest games you have probably seen in LCS history.
Remember, they've lost 8 in a row, and they should have lost 9.
To be fair, dude, it's CLG. It's counter logic. We predict them to win. They might end up losing. If they lose the series, you just disband the roster. If you lose to Golden Guardians,
then get somebody more dynamic. And
hell yeah, man, bring over your gal
and just get Jesus fuck.
How about CLG gets perks? What if CLG just got perks?
Jesus, yeah, like they got Broxa, and then they turned him into a streamer.
Holy God.
Fuck. Yeah, and then just get somebody like Dokka's been doing, but just stronger. Oh, so I will say, God, Dokka looked so sad after that game 5 because I think he knew he shouldn't have been there. He should have been side lane and possibly done a base race to save it or hold them off. I think he realized he fucked up.
I mean, that or he just realized that he forgot to do this Indian scam the other day. He's like, God damn it. Yeah, so 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. Yeah, 3-1, 100 Thieves, I'll say, but, you know, again, they shouldn't be close. 100 Thieves is definitely the better team. By far, Team Liquid should really not go to Worlds if Cloud9 just woke up or CLG, you know, had more experience, but you know, that's just the Team Liquid way. They'll play like shit, but just because of experience and other teams fucking up, they'll somehow make it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow won this or just won through the lower bracket. But and then EG versus Cloud9. I mean, do I want to give
Cloud? EG should win. On paper, EG
on
should
paper,
3-0 them.
Now here's the thing. The thing with EG is Cloud9 does have a chance. Do I think they, again, just like with groups last year, but then somehow did it because they like woke up and because the other teams were that bad and stuff. Do I think they have the consistency to put everything together and do it like they should and beat them? No, but they have a chance, and the reason being is that the main thing with EG is Impact's really not that good. You know, we've always talked about how Danny and Volk isn't that good in lane. I don't think they're like bad or anything like you guys said, but they're still not like great or anything. Kind of like when Bane Azazel's bot lane and Jojo Peon grossly overrated. I'm definitely not even having him in my top 3. Stop overrating this fuck. And then, well, actually, I might just because, but. And yeah, it's mainly like Inspired keeping all the lanes together, which is why it's so amazing and probably be my MVP maybe. But and then of course Impact has struggled. It's mainly that, but then it's like every game they end just like at Dragon or something. They just have a huge team fight and just blow the game open, and Danny just gets like a pentakill. So if Cloud9 can just find a way to just counter that, like win the team fight or just like hold them off, maybe snowball it just slowly, like, you know, not have them be so aggressive, and then, you know, draft certain champs, you know, replace Max Waldo with somebody who actually can do it behind the scenes. Then you know, just get fucking Zazel to do for all I care. I don't know. Then they have a chance, but it's unlikely. The real question is, do you think it's going to be a sweep for EG?
Okay, the thing I'll ask you is the same thing we brought up with G2 and EDG from last year. Is do you think the best of 5 that Cloud9 just had is what they needed to have to get out their problems holistically in a BO5? They can start ramping up, because that happens a lot of times for teams that have had bad regular seasons. They have a BO5 that's really close, one that they kind of edge out because of certain mistakes.
I think it was kind of, yeah, actually, but for certain players, I
think Fudge is performing. You're right. Fudge is performing better right now than Impact, but is it that much of a difference to make that much of a difference in the series?
And again, just in the first half, Fudge was like the best top laner in the league, and the second half, I don't know why, it's like CS numbers and everything started going down again.
Jessica from fucking I want to date Jessica too from Gen G, but yeah.
Wait, is he actually?
I hope he. I will give him pointers on how to have sex with.
yeah, okay, buddy. Like you have any? It's like that episode of like the Fresh Prince. Okay, you need any tips on sex now? Oh, do you have any for me?
If Zen and Berserker play as good as they did when they had dominant wins in the bot lane, they can definitely beat Danny and Vulcan. I just don't know how consistent that is. The problem here is this realistically on paper should be EG wins 3-1. Realistically, it should be. But Jensen against Jojo Peon in the BO5, I think that's the problem. Because I think Jensen and Jojo Peon have performed fairly the same.
I think honestly the biggest problem is I don't think Jensen has improved that much from the best of 5 against CLG, and Blabber, again, as much as he then, you know, looked like he might have fixed it, besides like smiting and stuff like in that series, like he's still always been inconsistent on tops and lows, dude. So I mean, he would need to perform like he did against Worlds last year, you know, in the second half against Rogue and stuff. But now, and with the bot lane, the thing is, I actually think Berserker had played great. I think with what he's had to work with and playing with Sven, who's role swapped, and just comparing him to the other ADCs who really haven't been that as great as people said, like FBI. I think he's honestly the second best ADC besides Danny. But that, we talked about Danny's weak laning phase. So here's the thing, though: Cloud9's laning
so
phase
good
in
in
the
team
bot
fighting.
lane. Yeah, they're not that good in laning phase either. Berserker.
The problem here is that
they're usually
Cloud9's laning phase, and Cloud9's laning phase is okay. Their early game, EG just a better early game team. And Cloud9's early games are bad. They're like actually horrible.
Well, that's the thing. Like every game, Berserker and Sven are like pushed against the turret. So it's like yeah, Danny's and Vulcan's laning phase is not good, but against Cloud9, I mean, they can.
I mean, like, are you going to take? No one's going to take Blabber over Inspired. Inspired has had a much better, not only split.
Yeah, if they play to their peaks, and yes,
Inspired's going to just take a fat black dildo and just.
However, I'm going to say 3-1 again for EG, but I mean, this could legit be like a sweep for EG or Cloud9.
Maybe Cloud9 play split. I mean, guys, going into the series, Cloud9's the underdog. I mean, yeah, I agree, man. Okay, TSM versus Flyquest.
Yeah, I mean, I did have one question though. Who would you rather see in the lower bracket? They faced 100 Thieves or Team Liquid?
Oh, you're right. So if Cloud9 lose this, they go to this bracket. So Cloud9,
I think they could legit beat Team Liquid if they're there. If they don't choke, but
the problem here is, damn it. The issue here is if Cloud9 win this, remember guys, this is big implications here if anyone's watching this. Whoever wins these 2 rounds, whoever wins goes to Worlds, right? So after this week, we'll know who is going from NA to Worlds for at least the first 2 teams, because you have to wait until the 3rd place match, and now the 3rd place match matters now for this bracket later on down here to actually get there. You would have to wait until, this week to figure out who would be the 3rd place team going. This right here, whoever wins these matches goes to, I think one of them goes to Worlds. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. This is very big for TL and 100 Thieves. But for TSM and Flyquest, I'll start there. I think TSM is just bad. Like, I know they had a lot. I'm not going to go to all of TSM's problems because we'd be here for another 3 hours, and I haven't got that kind of time to be breaking down TSM's problems. I think the last time I saw TSM, it kind of gave me pretty much the implications of how good they'll do in the playoffs. They might play spoiler. Who knows? TSM might play spoiler. But then again, is my dad going to come back into my life? I don't know. Right now, I'm going to pick Flyquest. I'll go Flyquest 3-1, CLG 3-0. The CLG games against Golden Guardians should be 25-minute stomps. There should be a game where Golden Guardians even wins. Golden Guardians is the worst team in playoffs right now. If CLG loses a game to Golden Guardians, that's something just concerning. That's like literally red fire truck alarms blowing off in your head. So Flyquest, CLG, 100 Thieves. I think 100. Despite TL's super team, I think 100 Thieves have just been the better team for most of the year. Actually, pretty sure it's not really a crazy take right there. I think 100 Thieves definitely going to win the series. I'll go 3-1, 100 Thieves. EG against Cloud9. Okay, this is the way I'll predict this because I want to be safe. So I'll do my safe predictions. I want Cloud9 to win, obviously, because I'm pretty sure if Cloud9 win this series, they're going to be going to Worlds too. I'm pretty sure, because this is another losers bracket. This one is
they go to Worlds.
If I'll predict it 2 different ways. Okay, so if this series isn't when they go to Worlds, then I'll eat that, sure. But if they happen to go to Worlds, I would love that. If they reveal that, I'm not too sure about that. But I would want Cloud9 to win. And if they have a chance to go to Worlds from winning this, that'd be great. I just don't think they're the better team right now. I just don't. I'll predict it 2 ways. The correct prediction is EG should win 3-1. Now, if I want Cloud9 to win, which I do, that would go 3-2 in Cloud9's favor. Or maybe Cloud9 just sweep them. Who knows? Maybe Cloud9 just sweep them, actually.
Again, it's mainly like the first big team fight that happens in games. That's why EG snowballs so hard. Otherwise, they're usually not that far apart.
Because, like, in the regular season, EG just stomped the shit out of them. They've been beating them most of the year, actually. Like, it's not been close at all the whole year. It's like, you take all those times EG's won versus how many Cloud9's actually won against them. It's not been fairly convincing for Cloud9's side. So that's my prediction, guys. EG should win 3-1. That means EG and T. That means I'm predicting 100 Thieves and EG to go to Worlds. If the EG and Cloud9's best of 5 happens to lead one of them going to Worlds, I would want Cloud9 to win in it. And if that other prediction you guys would want me to have, I would say Cloud9 would definitely win 3-2 because I don't think that would go in Cloud9's favor for like a 3-1 or a 3-0. Though me wanting Cloud9 to win would be a 3-2, but EG they're the better team right now, and I think they're gonna win 3-1. But that's just how I see it personally. Give me a second because I want to make sure that we have this lined up. Okay, so let me give you guys the LOL Esports page right here. Okay, because I think on Leaguepedia sometimes they can mess it up a little bit. Okay, so we saw the games for Sunday. You don't go that far. Holy shit. Okay, so Monday. Wait, what the fuck? They're playing on Monday again? No way.
Oh, this game is live. Hey, I wonder if they played any games yet.
So we just predicted all of these. Okay, so the winner of Team Liquid versus the winner of this series goes here, and the winner of this series goes against Cloud9. Would Cloud9 want to face TSM? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, usually it's usually competitive even when TSM is bad, just because there's like that stigma and whatnot. But I'd still say they beat them. I mean, but also, definitely look out for Golden Glue potentially being a coach next year in the LCS.
So we have round 4. I don't know where they're getting all these many rounds. Oh yeah, so you play. I don't know where they're getting all these many rounds. This is finals right here. Finals is gonna be on Sunday. The lower bracket finals for this week would play. Where are they getting this round from? This might be a little messed up, but yeah, those are my predictions. Flyquest, CLG, 100 Thieves, EG, with the asterisk there that if I wanted Cloud9 to win, they would win 3-2. But yeah, 100 Thieves going to Worlds. Oh, Cloud9, please win for me and potentially go to Worlds. Please win for me. All right, LCS part of the show is done. Let's go to the LEC. So the reason why we didn't do an LEC episode last week was because they took a week off. Because LEC takes a week off after they have a the regular season, which is good for obviously resetting the player's mental going into the next playoffs, because obviously regular season to playoffs is vastly different. So I'll hear it because Warren's going to watch the show on the replay. So we'll talk about the teams that didn't make it. Not going in depth into them because it doesn't matter because we're not going to see them actually. Okay. So also Koi ended up buying a stake into Rogue that I'll go over a bit later on. All right. Team BDS. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go over it a bit later on, but another team is kind of buying into the LEC, but Rogue kind of still have the majority stake. Which will go
okay, well, what team is it?
Koi.
I
don't know who the fuck they are, but apparently they're buying in.
I'm trying to remember who. Oh, that Spanish team. Okay, I know which one you're talking about. Okay.
All right, so
yeah, they have White Knight.
So I know this has been a thing for LEC and LCS fans. They want different teams in the league. I don't think that'll happen for the LCS, but I do think that'll happen for the LEC. The LEC has kind of, even when they were called the EU LCS, they always had just new teams join every once in a while. You know, they just always do. Now, this fan sentiment is weird because they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll get Team BDS in. They're rich. They'll buy the best players." When has that ever happened? XL didn't do that. Rogue didn't do that.
Yeah. If Astralis didn't do that, then holy
Astralis didn't do that, right? Team BDS,
they're filthy rich.
Yeah. Like people keep going, oh well, we'll have new teams in EU. They'll buy the best players, and it won't be like these other bad guys. That's not happened at all.
Yeah, I remember that guy who was like the most hated man in America. He almost owned that League of Legends team in the LCS.
Hey man, at one point G2 almost owned Fnatic. We don't talk about that. Holy shit!
Holy fucking Christ! They would have been G2B. Holy fuck!
Gnatic. Yeah, I like how Riot was like, yeah, the loan is forgiven. Homie, what? Can I get my money?
Yeah, sorry, but
right, you cannot do that.
I think it's
like, okay, just back in the day, for anyone who didn't know, G2 gave Fnatic a loan, and if Fnatic didn't pay it off by a certain point in time, G2 would have legitimately, Carlos would have owned Fnatic. But Riot had this thing in their systems where that's why the teams can't do that anymore for any major region, because you can't have one guy owning more than one team for competitive integrity. That's why the LPL owners got in trouble, because there was a rumor that certain LPL owners had more than one team. You just cannot do that. That's bad. I shouldn't have to explain why it's bad. Your brain should know why it's bad. So Riot forgave the loan, obviously. And then like later on, I don't know how, maybe Fnatic under the table paid it back with some of the roster signings. Maybe they did that. But yeah, G2 literally just gave Fnatic free money to stay afloat. They literally just gave them free money.
I mean, that's
and Riot was like, okay, cool.
No.
Fnatic could just ask for money, not pay it back. Riot, are you stupid? What the fuck?
Yeah, this is just.
At one point, G2 could have owned Fnatic. I'm not even kidding. That was crazy.
Like, I'm sorry. Do you think we're joking when it comes to like G2 and PSN being doing literal cartel stuff? Like, no, we're not joking.
Their brother alive. They're keeping their brother alive.
We're not joking. They literally should not have a team of all the illegal shit they've done. The owners.
To all those Fnatic fans that I banter with generally, I'm like, hey man, my team would be your team. Like you,
just say we literally own your team.
Yeah, like
and not competitively, money wise.
Yeah, like Carlos literally kept Fnatic. They who are so lucky because it wasn't Carlos specifically. It was another person he was working with that loaned the money out. Guys, when you loan money out, you have to pay it back. Riot was like, no, it's forgiven. What the whatever. My brain is fried. So Team BDS 3-15. I mean, they played spoiler for some games that we predicted for. That was all we said. Just play spoiler. You already had a playoffs. You can't
and again, they didn't play as bad as the record says. Besides some players that really shouldn't be in LEC, and I'm surprised for. It's just they choked a lot of games. Should have won. They should honestly have like Astralis and SK's record. However, I mean, we still said they would be the worst team in the LEC this split. I mean, and they were. Like, there was no question. Like, they were just on paper the worst, and they played like the worst.
Astralis and SK Gaming, everyone knew going into this week because we called it the last time we talked about the LEC. They had to win 3 games in a row, and they won one of them.
Yeah, Astralis had a chance, but Junghoon cost them literally 2 games with 2 of his plays.
Astralis, I don't even know. They're just give me like, hey, like I don't buy into all this fan sentiment. If another team comes in, they'll just do better. But I'm just so tired of seeing Astralis and SK Gaming, man. I'm just done. Just get me new people. There's rumors.
SK Gaming, they've been here since the beginning. I would try to keep them, but
like, because there's rumors right now that another team is trying to buy in between like FaZe Clan or they said an NA team or some shit. I was like, what? There's all these rumors of teams buying in
FaZe Clan, but
or I mean, Carmine Corp trying to buy a spot in. Like, oh my goodness.
Again, they should. I already said this a million times, but again, they should. The 3 major regions should expand to at least 12, and then they should give Carmine Corp one of them. But I mean, the NA org that's rumored, I think honestly could be what's the name of that fucking I forgot the org name. It was I'll try to remember it. It was the one that was Sentinels.
Sentinels. Oh yeah. That was the one that's rumored to be coming into the LCS potentially.
Yeah.
SK Gaming is weird.
I wouldn't like it, but whatever.
That team, yeah. The problem here is SK Gaming are always going to get the results they pay for. They're going to be, even if they make playoffs, they're going to be out in the first round. It's like SK Gaming, Astralis. Coming into this offseason, because I'm pretty sure this offseason is going to be really, really crazy. I have a lot of news videos coming out for you guys. I have Warren and Sean. They're going to send me information when it drops, or even rumors. I'll make videos on rumors too. I don't care. I'll just make sure I put rumors in the titles. I could see 2 different orgs coming to the LEC. Like, that's what I could see 2 coming in. We know we're going to have Misfits swapping out with Heretics. Astralis.
And I fucking hate that, but whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing is, but also, Peter factor in with these deals, Rogue and Misfits, Misfits will still technically be in the LEC because they have a 20% stake left within their own company from the deal. So they're essentially just not going to be Misfits. It'll just be just Heretics, right? Now, my issue here is SK Gaming and Astralis. I don't see Astralis staying for the long haul. I just don't. They've never been good. They haven't even made playoffs once. At least SK Gaming, make playoffs sometimes. Astralis does not. Astralis is just bad.
Astralis being here for the long haul and actually doing stuff would be good for LEC, but will they? It seems like the ownership has like put in the least effort in their League of Legends team compared to everything else.
Unless Janghoon is locked in his contract, I think another top org, another better team should offer Janghoon a contract. Or as the only player I would probably offer one. SK Gaming.
I feel like there might be recency bias with his like mistakes near the end, and he might miss out because of that.
There's SK Gaming. I think Certus and Treats should definitely go to a better team. The rest of the guys, I don't know what's Warren's obsession with Genax. I think he's okay. It's like a middle of the pack top laner for the LEC.
He can go to like Immortals.
Like Gilius definitely ran it down for the Super Week. Fucking
but he had a few good games recently, so just ignore the rest.
But Janghoon, Treats, Certus, they should go to better teams. S Gaming and Astralis, they get the results they paid for. You paid for Vizichachi in season. What season were you on? Season 12? Some shit like that. Makes sense to me. Team Vitality, they don't make playoffs. And the sweet syrup on the revenge is XL knocked them out of making playoffs. Team Vitality knocked XL out of playoffs last split. XL, make sure Team Vitality don't make playoffs this split, actually.
Yeah.
Sounds like revenge to me.
I mean, just pure luck, whatever. Both these teams are bad.
No, listen. Before I eviscerate XL, Team Vitality, people were like, but MSK, they were playing good for that 1 week. They have played literally good for a combination of 2 weeks through the entire year. Not 1 month. The entire year.
This is a big Immortals moment right here.
Watch these games back. They played good. I'm not even being hyperbolic. They played 2 weeks out of the year. They were not good.
They literally won games from the other teams fucking up, and they just, and they just took advantage of it because at the very least they were consistent. They weren't making idiotic plays. So they literally stood there and the teams were like, here's a free win. That's how they got all their wins.
I love people just shitting on Perks. I'm not the hugest I like Perks a lot. I do. But get factor in. If they didn't have Perks on his team, what the fuck do you even look like? Perks was literally hard carrying their team. Literally hard carrying your team. They put together all these players. Labrov never really got it together. Karzi looked pretty darn bad. Perks, to me, was their best player. Haru looked pretty invisible for a lot of their games. Kind of had an okay few Trundle games. Afari kind of had a few okay Jax games. But the whole team throughout the year has been really disappointing. I mean, they ended up on a 4-game losing streak. Like, they literally barely would have limped into playoffs on losing their last 3 games out of 4. No, this team was fucking bad. All these teams at the bottom, SK Gaming, 2-game losing streak, 3-game losing streak, just being completely just gutted and destroyed toward the end of the split. Watching the Super Week was cool. I like watching Super Weeks, but some of the Vitality games, I can admit, were a little close. I can, but the thing here is, throughout most of the year, they haven't been that good. They just weren't, honestly.
Again, why didn't they get Bo in spring? Like, what idiots would wait?
They couldn't see him because Haru looks like. Okay,
you keep getting advertised these streams online, but then with these jokes, just Jesus Christ, are you trying to go for like the cancel world record?
I'm loving it. So that's it, guys. Other than Perks being on their roster, I know someone asked me, because you guys asked me in the chat before, who do you think they're going to keep in the offseason? Just Perks. Why would you keep Alfari? Perks is the only player you build around.
Go back to China. Obviously.
Yeah, okay, because they literally in their press release statement said this is basically a Bo waiting room. So potentially we're going to see Bo and Perks on the starting roster. I know Perks has said, "Oh yeah, Karzi's a cool dude. He does all this great shot calling and team fights. Who gives a fuck? You can't find no one better. Can you not find no one better? Fuck that. Fuck off.
I am so tired of people last year hyping up this Karzi guy. I'm like, do you people have eyes? It was so obvious he was getting carried by the rest of his team. He was not that good at all. He had good mechanics, whatever. He it was not that good or consistent. All right, Sven last year was honestly on par with him, if not better. Like, people are hyping this guy up, and then when he goes to Vitality, like, no, fuck off. And then Brov, again, I gave him a chance. He was shit. Now, Alfari, I thought would at least play solid, but yeah, he was pretty average at best.
This is Alfari's worst year by far. I know Amazing had that hot take of saying he was never that good. I don't agree with that, but
yeah, that was dumb. But
he definitely did not play good this year, you know. But that's it for Team Vitality. They played bad all year. I mean, I know they had like 2 weeks. There was 1 week in spring they looked good, and 1 week in summer they looked actually pretty good. That's fucking atrocious. That is bad. That is horrible.
Yeah.
The fact that people were like, but they had that 1 good week. What? Okay, sure. What? Because 1 good week erases all the bad weeks.
Carsey is literally tactical VU. Yes.
XL are not even better themselves. They limped into playoffs. They had like a 4-game losing streak. They were
literally pure luck.
Literally luck. I'm not even actual luck.
Yeah, again, I went on this rant like 2 streams ago or something about being vindicated about XL. That didn't change because, again, I said, even if they make playoffs, that's still the case, and they're still like 6 max, maybe 5th now, just because I'll say there is actually a possibility they make Worlds just because their competition would probably be Misfits and Fnatic. So there's a possibility. But either way, whatever the case is, even if they make Worlds, it's still the case. It's literally any improvement over 7th place is literally just because the other teams in the league are that bad. That's their placement, 7th place. All right, they're just not special at all. All right, they were not playing good at all. Literally, pure luck they made it through.
So if you look at all these games, 1, 2, 3, 4, they were on a 4-game losing streak. They luckily faced XL. Luckily, XL fucking faced Astralis. They literally faced Astralis, and the very last day, they were so lucky they were matched up against Astralis, where they could literally win the 1 game they needed to pretty much make playoffs if other scenarios panned it out. Now, then later on, they ended up getting their revenge against Vitality, so now they end up actually making playoffs. But XL limped into playoffs. They were not.
Yeah, but again, so Misfits is probably going to lose the. I mean, if we had to take a guess, they're probably going to lose the first round in playoffs. Misfits of who their competition is. So right. and they'll be the next round because the next opponent after Fnatic versus XL is the lowest seed, and they're the lowest seed in the upper bracket. So XL, I mean, again, their competition is a shaky Fnatic who literally was upset Dragon 4 dead bodies into playoffs, but even then they still look better than XL because XL is that fucking bad. But still, that's their competition, and then a Misfits where on paper they really shouldn't be as good as they are. So I'm saying there's still an actual chance this team somehow fucking makes Worlds, which is a crate that's just holy fuck. After these top 3 teams got, it's just been so bad for EU this year.
Whatever. So let's go to Fnatic. So I know people are going to look at this 3-0 and go, they won 3-0, right? You watch these games? You watch these games?
Yeah, they were not good.
They were not good. Yes, they won 3-0.
It was just upset and the Zeri pick.
They got clutch. Sure, they clutched it out. No, upset, clutched it out with Zeri because teams.
Yeah, this is the type of shit of why Upset and Patrick should be an MVP contention, even if they don't win it. Just
like, this is ridiculous. All 3 of these games, Fnatic could have and maybe should have lost, but they won them. Okay, cool. They won 3-0. I want to talk about this game. This game where they played up against Fnatic and Misfits give Upset Zeri. And Fnatic are clutch. And they make playoffs, actually. But when they didn't give Upset Zeri, they had him on Ezreal. There was the part of the game where they lost and he didn't shake. He come and fist bump when he left. Oh, that is not good. That is not good. Because remember, guys, the reason why they had to win this game is because they were playing for the upper bracket. Now, Fnatic have to face XL in their first round. And even if they win this, let's say, even if they win this and they go to the next round, actually, do people really have them over any of these teams? Like, let's say they do beat XL. Okay, cool. No one's going to take them over any of these four. Not even close. Fnatic have looked really fucking shitty this entire split. There's been like...
Yeah, well, actually, hold on. I think I made a mistake. Can you actually scroll up for a second? Is there a regional qualifier this year? Because I know that's been the case.
No, there's only a regional qualifier in LCK and LPL.
Oh, okay. I was just checking because making sure. Okay, but yeah, I mean, even if they win that, I mean, again though, their opponent would be probably Misfits, right? Like if G2 doesn't choke.
So
do you think they can?
What's this? Even if they get any of these teams, let's say they win this round, they get any of them. There's no, I don't see a world they win at all. I just see them getting knocked out.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying with how Misfits been playing, they shouldn't lose. But I'm just saying on paper, if Fnatic has a chance to win, and then if they just beat them, then they make worlds.
Yeah, because I forgot 4 teams go.
Yeah.
Fuck. Not even good.
That's a crazy. That's why XL can literally make it despite how bad they are, because their opponents are Fnatic. And
you think
Misfits,
XL
right?
can play spoiler?
As bad as they are, they can, because again, it's Misfits, Fnatic, and XL. All 3 of them have not been good at really. Well, Misfits has been. It's just on paper, so they could stumble at any time. It's a possibility. So, and then Fnatic and XL has both just been bad, so either one could win. So it's literally just up in the air, that last spot.
Because, all right, so you have your matches right here. You have Rogue versus Mad Lions. We'll predict that one. These are actually really interesting matchups, actually.
I wish it was reverse. I wanted to see Rogue and Mad
both Rogue and Mad Lions early games are pretty much even. Now, Mad's early game is way more volatile than Rogue's early game. And Rogue also know how to close out their early game a lot more when they get the lead. Now, Mad Lions specifically, when they play their early game out, they're a lot more risk heavy. They'll go for a play they don't need to make, potentially lose it, then give back an advantage. Rogue are not going to do that. Rogue, when they have an advantage, they're going to definitely push the pace of the game slowly. Mad definitely started faltering a tiny bit toward the end of the regular season, but they did manage to win the games against BDS and Astralis.
Well, why didn't they have a tiebreaker with G2 Mad? Is it because G2 won both of those games this season?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. It was because one of these teams ended up winning it out against the other one, so it was the head-to-head.
Okay.
So for Rogue versus Mad Lions, this is actually really close. I think Mad's early game is so chaotic. Rogue's early game is not as chaotic, but I could definitely see a world where Mad get the early game advantage against because their early game is more about taking risks. Rogue takes risks in the early games, but it's not as just consistent, just not as they're not gonna make that play. They'll take a very calculated early game play and make it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, as much as I said all this stuff this season, I think just in the moment I'm gonna go with Rogue 3-2 just because I think
it's
Rogue
really
has
even across the board.
I think Rogue has, watching their games, they've thought of more ways to play. Now they're no longer as one-dimensional, and Mad they've been faltering, but also just like that's kind of been the case. Like Armu and Niski, they've been like, for some reason, besides like the odd year, they get kind of nervous when it comes to like clutch moments like this. They get a bit nervous, and I think like Rogue their aggressiveness might take advantage of that. Like they might gank Niski a lot, I think. And
I think it's gonna go the distance. I'm predicting Rogue 3-2.
Yeah, and then G2 and Misfits, I'll go 3-1 G2.
Okay, so G2 versus Misfits. G2 looked a whole lot better for the last couple of games they had. They actually ended off on a 5-game win streak. Misfits with Zanzara, as bad as he's been playing, got enough wins to make it to the playoffs.
But at least they used him in the the right situation. So
hell yeah, just pop. If they, G2 guys are banning out Poppy, and then Zanzara's done. I think G2 are gonna win 3-0.
Yeah, no, just ban Poppy and Trundle, or first pick Trundle.
Ban Poppy or Trundle. I think this guy's done. Honestly, G2. I'm gonna say 3-0. I think there's a chance Misfits win a game if maybe G2 get a little bit disrespectful and give Zanzara Poppy, but if they don't do that, I think it's just a 3-0. I think they're just the much better team, holistically. But I think it might be a 3-0 that looks closer when you watch the games rather than if you see a score, if that makes sense for anybody. Excel versus Fnatic. Okay, so this is the best. Okay, this is gonna be weird. Okay, so the Excel players, they were in playoffs last split, but they were also in a lower bracket. Fnatic's players have a lot more experience in playoffs than Excel holistically. Is this the time right now where maybe experience trumps, or are the teams so evenly matched the experience doesn't really matter holistically? Because my thing right now, guys, is I know people are saying with this Fnatic should win, and rightfully so. You're probably right, but I think that Excel definitely have a chance to win this series. Both teams have been playing extremely bad. Their play styles are completely bad, but I think it's so even right now. This is kind of like CLG versus Cloud9. Both teams' play styles are very volatile. The mid laners on both teams aren't that good. I mean, I'll take Nukeduck over Humanoid right now. Humanoid is such a liability right now for Fnatic. It's not even close.
I'll tell you one thing. The main thing that's really a win condition for teams against Fnatic in their state is they don't bother with like how do I say they don't honestly try to gank like Humanoid much because he's not been impactful at all for them at the moment. So
he dies
like
level 3 all the time.
Yes, like I don't know, it's just like yeah, well he gets solo killed a lot and stuff, but what they usually do is they like go into the top lane obviously and gank and wonder, and then like Razork shows up and usually kill him. The thing is do you think can is good enough to pull it off as well as others?
Given how bad Humanoid's been playing, because this is the thing, if Humanoid can stop dying level 3 playing aggressively the way he does, because he's not playing understanding he's gonna get ganked. If Humanoid can somewhat not even come back to form, if Humanoid can come back to about 50%, I think it edges. It definitely is going to be in Fnatic's favor. But Advian against Razork, that's probably Advian favored, right? Not Advian. Marcoon. Marcoon against Razork.
Yeah, sorry, you're talking about the player that should be on the team but isn't.
So Marcoon against Razork, that's Marcoon favored, I would say. Just a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Finn against Wonder, that's pretty not even. That probably goes into Wonder's favor, but it's not so overwhelmingly in his favor that you couldn't see a world where Finn wins a game. If they give Finn, Sion, Malphite, Gnar, Sejuani, I think he's fine. But Wonder hasn't really carried any game either, you know? Bot lane, Patrick and Mickey X versus Upset and Hylissang. If they ban Zeri, then Fnatic's bot lane's going to be in some pretty huge trouble. But if you give Patrick someone like Xayah, someone like Draven...
Look at that comment, please.
Then we'll have to see how it goes. Because my thing here is the Fnatic players, it doesn't look like they have an idea of how they want to actually play the game. So the thing here is Excel's basic way of playing the game enough to overwhelm Fnatic's players? What's up, plugin? Humanoid has to install ad block extension because the Google ads are... oh yeah, guys. Also, make sure you guys like the stream. I know we have more people watching today. Like the stream. Definitely helps out a lot, okay? Like the stream.
Fuck off.
Fuck my ass, bitch. So, that's my thing, guys. I mean, these are some really close BO5s. This one is pretty well set. I'm pretty sure G2 wins 3-0 on this one. Excel versus Fnatic. Who am I picking? The problem with Excel... No, sorry. The problem with Fnatic is I don't think they even know how they even want to play the game. I think despite Excel being also just as bad, they have an idea of how they do kind of want to play the game, though. I'll say Excel win 3-2. I think they actually beat Fnatic. That's what I'm gonna say. What about you?
Are we going the Fnatic XO?
Yeah.
Fnatic 3-2.
Fnatic 3-2. All right. So that's it for the BO5s. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, if Fnatic win this and they're a lot better in BO5s, I mean, I'll eat that. But last split when they were in BO5s, that shit looked really bad. Like, we're talking about Humanoid literally not even being able to even play Silas correctly or even Twisted Fate. Like, he was completely running it down. Like, the biggest lie, if Humanoid wasn't as bad as he is this split, I would probably favor Fnatic, but like right now, I just can't. I just don't think they're that good. I think they're just honestly living off just player name alone. If you take the nameplates off, I'm pretty sure more people right now would predict Fnatic, Excel, but Excel also with their later games have also not looked good. If Excel can come back into the form they had at the beginning of this summer split, then I could see a world where they win the series. I see a world where they win the series a bit more than Fnatic, despite both teams' early games being just that bad, you know? But that's just how it really goes for me right now, guys. So I'm going to make sure I sign back into my main account. Okay, so everyone who's watching this show now, we are going to have 2 shows next week because we're going to cover the LCK 2022 Summer Split Finals. We're going to cover the entire LCK playoffs, you know. Then we're going to also have LCS and LEC together again to cover all these BO5s, actually. And that's 4 BO5s to cover because we have 3 here and we have 4 for the LCS, actually. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Will we end up covering the LPL? If I covered all the best of 5s of the LPL, I'd probably die, honestly.
Oh, we're not doing all pro teams yet.
All pro teams yet? Fuck, I forgot, honestly.
Yeah, I forgot, but I was in the middle of making them during this stream.
Yeah, same here. I actually was making it.
Yeah, I mean, I could just say my LCS ones quickly. Do you want to go over
finished. Do you want to go over the LCS on Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, we can like repeat them next stream, but I'll just say them right now for the hell.
What was that article you want us to go over? Actually,
wait, what article?
I swear, there was something where you wanted us to go over.
I'm
think.
You might be talking about like for another stream. If you mean like the there's like something on. Let me scroll up.
Give me a second right now, because I wanted to go over. Okay, JoJo wins Rookie of the Year award. They don't do Rookie of the Split award. They do Rookie of the Year award, actually. Let's see. Bjergsen had an interview. Let's read Bjergsen's interview with Esports.
So I think that was kind of. I think they were actually. I mean, I would have to remember who were older. Actually, yeah, that was bullshit that JoJo won Rookie of the Year, actually. Again, I would not say... Again, top 5 mid laner, he's played very good, but people are overrating this guy and pretending like it's not also a lot of it have to do with the team around him. He's not been amazing or anything. He's not all pro team, really. You can maybe make the argument for like 3rd, but that's max, and he's not Rookie of the Year. Are people forgetting that... Takuli, didn't play in LEC, so he's technically a rookie. This is his first like major region, mainly.
Takuli played great, honestly, this year.
Like he's technically a rookie because all the others were like EU regional leagues and whatnot. So why didn't he win it? Oh, it's because of NA bias, right? Yeah, just like Blabber.
Let's see what Bjergsen said about the LCS viewership. Okay. Even Bjergsen has shared his thoughts on this hot topic. In his recent interview with Dexerto, the Team Liquid mid laner said the situation within the LCS has improved. He says, well, a lot of things have improved on the back end, on the org side, to become more professional and support the players in a better way. Eve Bjergsen said, that might not reflect in the LCS viewership, but that's something that I'm really happy about. Okay. Regarding
they definitely improved,
Regarding the viewership debacle, Bjergsen admits that it is not as high as a few years ago. He goes on to say that he is not the correct person to talk about it because he does not know exactly why the viewership has declined. But he is hopeful about the future. We have had conversations with Riot. They're aware of it and have a lot of ideas on things they can look to change within the next few years, he said. According to him, Riot and the players need to implement creative ideas to attract people's attention back to LCS again. Riot is also aware of this issue and is addressing things on its front. It has tried to create a narrative that a new era has arrived through the 2022 LCS Summer Split trailer. The trailer features some of the greatest names of the LCS in the past 10 years, like Doublelift, Sneaky Scarra, Meteo, Shifter, Voyboy, Hotshot GG, Xpecial, Balls, and Elimination. It provides a peek at their glorious moments and then turns to focus on the uprising names of the new era. With most of the distinguished names retiring from pro play, it remains to be seen if the new blood can reinvigorate LCS to its peak again. I think people need to understand it's not just about the LCS viewership declining. It's also about, it's a lot more different. I think I explained this before in a few episodes back. There's just a lot more options to watch now in terms of esports than the LCS. People generally latch onto the newest thing when it drops. And this is how life works, though. Newest thing comes out, it peaks in viewership, then people start to kind of fall off. The people that are only kind of around when something new is there. Then after that, you kind of get to see what your actual viewership is like. And that's the thing, is like the LCS did have a lot of viewers at some point, but those viewers were there when a lot of peak moments would happen, like big C9 versus TSM games, CLG versus TSM. Oh, and there were a lot more interesting rivalries back then as well. I'm not going to deny that, but the numbers started declining for a lot of reasons. There's not exactly one. NA's declining performance at Worlds is a very big deal with it. You also factor in there's more esports competitions now than there were when League was at the top. When the LCS was at the top, they were at the top. Now you have more games, obviously, that people can watch. There's some people that play League, but then simply just kind of fall off of it, you know, and they don't watch LCS anymore. Because if you don't like play League of Legends, then most average people go, well, why don't I just not watch the LCS? Why watch the LCS if you don't play the game? That's how some people think. Then you also have the fact that, you know, the region, I don't know if the BO3 arguments are reason for viewership declining. They posted the numbers for that weren't all that good, but I liked when it was BO3s, honestly. I think the players don't push the competition as much as they used to. Like players like Doublelift and Sneaky, Meteos, there was just bigger names in the scene that would push it a lot more. I think it all bases it into the LCS product just being bad. Like the LCS product really didn't start getting better until recently. I think the LCS product has been pretty good recently, but is it a little too late kind of thing? Probably.
I don't know.
But I'll have to see.
Gen G Chovy. If we lose, I'll blame it all on score. Hold on. Wait. What the? Okay, so I just looked at the old pro. Okay, so we have Mad Lion. Can you please tell me, did Broken Blade like touch anyone or something to get that first All Pro team?
I don't know how he got that shit. I don't know how Broken Blade of all people got that.
Do they have like? Did they let the blind community vote for this?
I would have picked Armut over Broken Blade if you gave me an option.
Oh, Odawamne, Armut, and then I would have honestly, I for the top laners in LC are not that good, but
Visit Chachi for sure, right?
Oh hell yeah, but no, that's the secret. We don't want to reveal that.
I mean, if someone had said they would pick Jinax over Broken Blade, I probably would have did that. But then again,
it's weird to say because they're literally like last in the league, but honestly, I guess Evo and at least Biofrost, you could make a little pro team.
So that's my thing with the LCS viewership. I mean, I think NA performing very well at Worlds could definitely boost it. I think that could definitely be a thing. Also, the orgs of the LCS don't really do as much as they used to in terms of content creation. You know, like 100 Thieves just recently made a League of Legends YouTube channel separate from their Valorant channel, separate from their main YouTube channel. You know, a lot of the YouTube channels that had LCS orgs on them that run these teams in a league, they actually had good YouTube content back in the day. The YouTube content they produce now is just not as good as what they used to produce, and it's also not as driven, and it's really not that interesting. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not as interesting as it was back in the day.
Okay, now that is not how you make a fucking news headline. League of Legends recruits former Blizzard man as new LEC commissioner. That is not how you make a headline after everything, but that is not what you do.
Also, even just with this past year, there's just been a lack of League of Legends content. Like TSM Legends not being weekly kind of hurts the viewership. You know, other teams in the LCS don't have like a docu-series anymore to follow them. Cloud9 kind of stopped doing theirs, you know. The only team that really does them is basically just TSM at this point, because Team Liquid does them, but they're not anything consistent.
I really don't understand why Cloud9 stopped doing theirs, but
like people keep complaining. Okay, this is the last thing I'll say before we head out, because I got to charge my headset anyway. Okay, so here's an argument for you guys watching. When a movie does very well at the box office, so I'll give you as an example, Transformers Age of Extinction came out back in 2014, right? Really, really shitty movie, like really, really fucking bad. Made $1 billion at the box office, right? And then someone is going to tell you, well, it making that much money doesn't equal the film being good. And yes, that is true. Box office doesn't equal quality of film, right? So on YouTube, people go, well, these like LCS videos don't get a lot of views anymore. That doesn't mean the video's bad. You know, people keep equating like views to quality content. It's like, no, why? If it doesn't work for movies that way, then why does it not work for YouTube videos like that? You know, people keep saying the viewership is down. Yes, if the league's viewership is down, then the team's viewership within the league is going to be down. You know, that's just kind of in part to how that works, though. If the league is not performing very well, then the team's content in a league will not also be performing very well. That's just kind of how it works. It also doesn't help that they don't produce any content to generate any fans. Like the TSM Legend series, the Cloud9 series that they had back in the day, like that was the best way for just random people to get introduced to certain players that, you know, really they weren't even interested in because they just weren't shown them. Because if you didn't watch the Challenger series back in the day, you simply could just watch like the TSM Legend style videos that teams used to produce to get you more on board with the new players. Actually, now that doesn't happen anymore. So how are you going to get down with the new player though? They don't produce any content around their new players. I mean, I think orgs like 100 Thieves and EG have stepped up a lot. They won the last past 2 titles. I think that's great. I think 100 Thieves will win this split, actually. They're still my pick to win the summer split, actually. I hope Cloud9 can win the split, but I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, 100 Thieves for me would be the pick to win the split right now if you ask me. I would love if Cloud9 win because I'm a Cloud9 fan. I would love them to have their 5th title, but that's probably not going to happen. But who knows? Who knows? You gotta stay faithful, right? Flyquest has actually, you know, made finals. Like Flyquest, 100 Thieves, and EG have done a decent share for the league. I mean, they've not been bottom feeders, you know. I mean, Flyquest has been a bottom feeder for like some splits, but you guys get my point. They're usually decent, competitive, middle of the pack, you know, teams usually that they make. But my thing here is I think the LCS teams could drive in viewership based off content. There just has to be another incentive into just making content. So like 100 Thieves drives up viewership because they make really good content based around their organization, you know? So yeah, that's it for that. I know the channel name has changed and it's called Esports Content Entertainment. I'm going to be getting a new logo and a new banner and a new intro and a new channel outro this week. Actually, I'm going to be commissioning the guys on Fiverr to do it. And then all that should be set up next week when we actually have our 2 episodes. The episodes next week, guys, are going to be the LCK, going over all the playoffs games they've had, right? Then we'll be going over LEC and the LCS together. That way you guys get your 2 episodes next week. The reason why we started doing 2 episodes is because it's just more content for you guys. And if you just want to watch the LCS, you can have that episode. If you just want to watch us talk about the LEC, you can have that episode. Also, since it's playoff time around the world for LCK, LPL, LCS, and LEC, that means when the finals conclude and the regions end, remember this, guys. We're not gonna have content in September. Like the regions, teams go boot camping for Worlds and stuff like that. September, there's no league competition at all. It's just pretty much just like the leftover gauntlet games. Actually,
I mean, speaking of no league content, Jesus Christ. Finally, it seems like Levi's gonna go back to an international event. This jungler, he's been fucked over so many times. Okay, so he goes to 100 Thieves, plays an academy the whole time over some other dog shit players, whatever. Then for like 4 years in a row, he wins like every split with Gambit Esports, or whatever they're fucking called in the Vietnamese league. But in all 8 international events, they don't go because of COVID and shit. And then they don't go again this year because of this. They decide to go to, like, what is it, the Asian Games or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like he might finally make it back now. What do you think?
For going back to the Worlds, right?
To going back to an international event.
He's gonna be he's on GAM, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't watched that guy play in years, honestly.
And he's been great the whole time in Vietnam, but because of COVID and because then them dropping out of MSI, it's like they won 8 splits.
They declined to go to MSI. They were like, fuck that. Because I think it was, I forgot the reason why
Asian
they declined
games
to go.
Or Cyber Games, something like that.
Yeah.
So literally won like 8 splits in Vietnam or something crazy like that in a row and didn't go to a single international event. Then also had that year where he didn't go to anything because they shoved him in academy the whole year on 100 Thieves.
My thing here with Worlds is, I don't know how it's going to play out, but guys, I'll be honest here. I'm hyped for all this shit. When CLG and Cloud9 were going back and forth, like, I'm hyped to watch any game. You know, I like to be the guy to be hyped for this stuff because there's no reason for me not to be hyped with them unless you're having legitimately shitty teams playing. Then I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna be pretty good. But
I mean, that Golden Guardians versus Immortals game, last year was really good.
Hey, that Golden Guardians versus CLG game about to be a fucking 5-game banger, right?
Yeah, they actually, I can't. Do you remember that game in spring? It's like it went on for like 60 minutes because the teams didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It was like the one game that Niles had Gangplank and actually didn't in. And then the caster afterwards was like, that's a top 5 game of all time. Yeah. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. He's like, yeah, you got these 2 dog shit unexperienced teams. Oh, you don't know how to play late game? Too bad. You got to try to do it. That was an all-time best. And I just wanted to shoot.
Did you see that? Did you see that drama between Wolf and Kadrill when Kadrill tried calling out Wolf? It's like, Kadrill, no, don't do that. You're gonna get wrecked. Don't do that, buddy.
What happened?
Oh shit! Kadrill tried calling Wolf out on something because Wolf is still kind of a little bit new to casting League of Legends, but then Wolf kind of clapped back and he was like, "Oh shit, fuck, yeah, don't do that, Kadrill. You're not in that lane yet, buddy."
Wait, which Wolf are you talking about?
The LCK Wolf. White
who?
guy. The LCK
okay,
Wolf.
but there's another guy called Wolf just with an E at the end. I was just making in the analyst desk, so I was making sure.
He streams for Team 1 to like 50K viewers. Holy shit. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'll have to start shifting the show a bit earlier in the week. But that's pretty much it. As you guys factor in, when playoffs are over for these regions, there's not really any content. There's no real league on in September. Most teams are out boot camping for Worlds because Worlds starts in October. So in October, we have Worlds, and September's all September is basically the first week is all just the gauntlet. That's it. And then you have the draw show, and that's it.
Yeah, just please make more content, orgs. Jesus, it's like, why don't they do those like boot camp apartment tours anymore with teams? Like,
I don't know.
Cool. I don't get it. Like, please give us more content that's not fucking cringe Travis Gafford, please. God, I don't know how that guy.
What did Trafford do to you?
God, I don't know how that guy dated 2 girls in like a year. That must have been some community service type thing from them. Sort of like how Stormy with you to come onto your streams.
Where did Travis hurt you, man? It's okay.
He is cringes. I'm sorry. I cannot respect that guy with some of this shit that he's done. Like, I don't mind his content. He's a fine interviewer, but holy fuck. I'm not going to explain it. It goes worse than like the shit with like Jacob Wolf and stuff. Like, there's been recent stuff I've been getting told and with players like this is
when this guy he says he's getting told stuff, and that's a packet of ketchup and a jar of mayonnaise.
yeah, no, this guy's actually just he needs to fuck right off. He isn't like a bad person, but he's just cringe. He's like I am Germ, basically.
Oh, I know we had a bigger turnout today. Thank you guys for watching. I know there's probably been a lot of lurkers who have watched for a while. We do this all the time, so you can always come back and watch. Okay, so remember, guys, little quick announcement before I head out, because I got to charge my headset and I got to just get a little bit of a break before I do my other show, my other channel, which is if you guys want to see me, I have a main YouTube channel actually that you guys can go on and subscribe to. My main YouTube channel is there, yes, and the LEC episode. So LEC and LCS are the primary regions we cover. So we don't watch the other ones, but those are the ones we make shows around. The LEC will end up being first on Tuesday, and the LCS will end up being on Wednesday. So not this week, but the week after, because we have to do the LCK this week coming up. We're going to start having LEC Tuesday, LCS Wednesday. That way we can get it out of the way and get it done, because Thursday is a pretty hard day to do that stuff. Because Thursday's pretty busy for me.
I mean, I'll be honest though. You know what I'm very shocked about though?
That you fucking suck.
No, that Barca Esports didn't get that slot over Team Heretics with their money and their org and stuff.
Do you think Carmine Corp is really gonna join? I don't know, man.
I don't know. Again, it would have to be from expansion, which they should do. I just don't know if they will, but they should. But I mean, I just think they don't have the pockets and they're fine with LFL. But
yeah,
I'm just shocked. Yeah. Like, out of all the LVP teams, it's like, really, Team Heretics got it over Barcelona? Really?
The best thing, okay, this is the thing that I could, like, bring up, which is, there's a difference between paying a $1 million contract for Reckless than paying potentially a X amount of contract for another huge name. I mean, yeah, they're going to bring in more viewers. That's great, but the LEC already gets a decent amount of viewers anyway. I don't know why people keep going, we got to increase viewership. It's like, that's not only thing you need to focus on is increasing viewership. I mean, the viewership is fine for most of these leagues anyway.
Yeah, well, what's wrong with giving out all the other regions viewership? Like, that's good for EU as a whole, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, everyone just focuses on viewership so much. It's just like, there's only so much you can do for that, you know? Certain teams are just kind of not going to be as popular as other ones. It's just how that works.
Do you think in the future it could get to a point with some regions like EU where the skill level, where, they keep getting players like Reckless and stuff, and their skill level for, like, the regions is honestly, like, indifferent from LEC, and then they kind of just disbanish LEC, and then they have, like, what they do in the regional thing, they have, like, the top 2 or top 3 team, they have their own splits, like the LFL split, that like Ica's team won this year in summer.
Ica,
and then the top 3 teams in each place, like Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition and stuff with win somehow. Yeah. They qualify for that whole big thing they do, like the championship, European championship. Do you think they could then do that, and then, like, the top 3 or top 4 teams of that makes Worlds? Do you think that could be a possibility in the future with EU and League?
No, they won't even entertain that stuff. The thing with LFL is that certain parts of the LFL are big, other ones aren't, and I don't think they really value it as much as they say they do. But LEC teams do. The thing with the LEC is LCS doesn't give enough chances to new people. LEC does it too much. There's no, like, actual balance between it. Because you've seen, like, LEC teams bring in a brand new guy, and they're going like, what the fuck? That's
yeah, like, remember that fucking SO4 move? Yeah, good job getting rid of Gilius and fucking Albadage for
Kiri. Okay, so Albadage, they couldn't. Albadage, it was like, okay, that's gonna happen, but they got rid of Gilius, who was actually performing very well for Kyrie. I was like,
yeah, Kyrie was one of the worst junglers I've ever seen. Holy fuck. Again, that's a crazy thing with Gilius throughout his career. It's the same thing with, like, Dardoch. When he's playing really well, either from, like, arguments or whatever, they get rid of him when he's doing super well. And then when he's playing like shit in LEC, they keep him in. It's like, why? This, like, happens all the time with him and Dardoch. It's so weird.
I know there was this narrative going around where, like, are people anti-Team Liquid? I don't think people are anti-Team Liquid. It's just more like
their NA pride.
This TL are not performing up to what the standard of the roster is.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean they're not. They don't like seeing this team succeed when they don't deserve it, just because name again.
Literally, it's just name value that's keeping. If they swap out fucking who's the
it's the same thing with Vitality. Why they got hate? It's because they keep calling this a super team and name value and keep pushing people like Bjergsen, and he got first All Pro team or something crazy, like second or something somehow, even though he's really not been good at all season. It's like they keep overhyping and the analysts and shit just for name value, and there's like not a single NA player, and they're not playing up to par, and they don't deserve really a world spot at this point. So it's like, yeah, it's the same thing with Vitality, why people were always against them, even when they were doing well in summer.
Like, you look at that Flyquest series, that still isn't super convincing. It's convincing when fucking Flyquest pick Vayne and Alistar bot lane and TL get a free win. It's like, yeah, that's not TL's fault, but it's like, people need to understand this. If it's not even just super team, what's the best way I could really put this? A team like Team Liquid should be performing a whole lot better than what their roster is on paper, right? They've been pretty much underperforming compared to a lot of expectations, though. Now, are certain players of theirs a little bit more overrated? Yeah, but compared to the level of gameplay we've seen from Team Liquid, it should be a whole lot better. Should it not, actually? Like, come on. Team Liquid's gameplay has not been what it should be. And I'm pretty sure ask the players that. They'll say it themselves. Players always do that. Like, fans will see a game from a team that is underperforming, and then even like a basic general brain-dead fan will go, yeah, this team's not playing good. Players will have interviews. They'll get asked that same thing. It's like, fans have been claiming you guys haven't been playing good. Ex-player answered the question. He goes, yeah, I mean, I don't think we've been playing up to our standards. If a basic casual fan can see that they've not been playing that good, or just in that nature holistically, yeah, Team Liquid should definitely be playing way better than they've shown most of the year. I don't think they're going to beat 100 Thieves. I think it's a pretty easy series for 100 Thieves. I think, yeah, TLR is going to get a game. I thought 100 Thieves have just been a better team than them most of the year, actually. You know? Like, I know name value alone, Team Liquid probably had the favor with a lot of people, but I think 100 Thieves has just been better most of the year. But all right, guys, see you next week on Tuesday. Tuesday next week, LCK, Wednesday, LEC, and the LCS, okay? And with that, we're going to be returning back to our regular schedule with Tuesday and Wednesday is our new schedule. After next week, it's going to be just back to the LEC, then the LCS, actually. Thank you guys for watching today. Happy. Make sure you guys watch League. Be positive when watching these competitive matches. Definitely, I'd rather much you guys be more excited watching League than not watching it, you know? Like, I know out there's more influencers that have like kind of negative opinions, and I'm not saying you should like sugarcoat your opinion or anything like that, because that's not also good either, but got to factor in the nature of competition should be something fun to watch. You are watching this for entertainment's sake because it makes you happy, right? Hopefully you're not hate watching this. If you're hate watching this, that's pretty bad, and I would just recommend you stop watching.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand some people. It's really weird, but remember,
don't always listen to someone's opinion and go, they're telling the truth because you don't think your opinion's worth value. If you actually enjoyed watching these series, say you do. And it's not that bad. I mean, most of these series aren't as bad as people make out to be. They're just not. There's going to be mistakes that happen. So it'll be mistakes, but it's about how you pretty much learn from those mistakes is what happens for these teams, right? The best teams ever play bad. They do. People just don't point it out to you. They play bad. But those best teams that have won through all these many years, they know how to fix those mistakes. And that's what makes them different. So that's it, guys.